Hey, this is Tom. I can stand up now when I videotape. So, I want to change it a bit. I want to talk about cell phones because they seem to be taking over, obviously, displacing all the cameras we carry, especially displacing point and shoots, and that's done with. I've had this Google Pixel here for about 6 months now, and it's an amazing phone. I used to carry with me a Sony RX100, like all the time religiously. And ever since I got this Google Pixel 2 XL, I only carry it for special occasions because image quality is good enough. That is, if you don't really want to use these pictures for portraits or anything, this is good enough. And if you don't want to zoom in, okay? Now, it's been irking me to actually check out the Galaxy S9 Plus as compared to this. One of the reasons is this: after being using this for about 6 months, it started to feel sluggish a bit, and I always thought maybe there's more in some newer cell phones that are a little bit better. So I got this Galaxy S9 Plus with the dual camera thingy. You can see it here, okay? And I gotta say the quality in pictures is very, very, very close. It's almost hard to tell them apart unless you look like side by side, pixel peeping. And this has the advantage of a secondary lens, the 2x zoom. I wish this was like a 3x zoom or even a 4x. Because 2x is just barely scratching it, like give me a little bit more. But in any case, the detail in the 2x is much better here than here because this is digital zoom and this is optical, okay? So what I'm gonna do now, we're just gonna talk about the picture quality, not video, just picture quality of the Pixel 2 XL and versus the Galaxy S9 Plus. And I gotta say though, I've taken so many amazing pictures, and it could have been might as well this or any other camera phone because the best camera is the camera that you have, okay? And this doesn't, it's just like, pictures are good enough, especially for sharing or Instagram or texting, they're good enough. If you're gonna print portraits, no, they're not good enough, okay? And obviously both of these phones I found quite lacking in video. Especially this Google Pixel here is, I was gonna talk about pictures. Okay, let's talk about pictures, okay? We'll do the video review in another video. Alright, so I'm gonna start the Lightroom right now. So here we have the images. Let's look at a couple of them here, okay? So this first one I want to show you, we took it outside on a sunny day, obviously. And under ideal conditions, there really aren't many differences. So I just zoomed in 1:1 pixels right here. And it's hard to tell them apart. So the image on the right here is Google. The image on the left is Samsung, okay? All right, so you can see they have about the same detail in the trees and the branches here and the shrubs. Colors, actually colors look better to me on the Galaxy here. More saturated, more green. They look more washed out on a Pixel, okay? Let's go on to these images here. So the camera on the right is the Google Pixel, on the left is the Samsung. I want to say the Pixel has more natural colors in this one, more of a greenish natural scene, whereas the Galaxy Samsung is more like yellowish, okay? And we can probably see that here. Now you can guess which image was from which camera. See, the Samsung tends to kind of saturate the colors, process them a bit more. The detail here is about the same in all these images, although yeah, I seem to have a little different perspective here when I took the image. But if you look at the tree here, that's 1:1 ratio. So you're looking at per pixel sharpness, and that looks good. If we look at a 2:1, yeah, I mean, pretty much look identical, except for some color differences. You'll notice some JPEGs or processing artifacts on both, like around the leaves, but you don't see it when you obviously zoom out. Okay, I do prefer the image here from the Galaxy. Okay, let's move on maybe to this macro shot here. Okay. All right, so who can guess which camera is which? So on the left here is the Google Pixel, and on the right is the Samsung S9 Plus. Yeah. All right, so on the left, it looks like I got a little bit closer to the image. Yeah, it wasn't a really scientific way I was taking these pictures. I think I should have. But in any case, you'll notice that the Google shot it at f1.8, and a Samsung shot at 2.4. So you'll notice the background blur is much higher. The bokeh is much larger, bigger. I don't know how to say it about bokeh. It's more blurry on the Pixel, whereas the Samsung stepped down to f2.4. So if you zoom in, you'll notice that the Samsung seems a bit sharper, but that's probably only because it was using a different aperture here. Okay, I left all the settings on auto. So actually both images look quite good, but I think I like the image from a Galaxy better on this one. I don't know, when you zoom it out, depends what you're looking for. Yeah, again, colors seem more yellowish, more warm. Okay, now this next set of images we shot at 2x zoom. So Galaxy obviously doesn't. Galaxy obviously has a second lens. So you'll notice that on a Samsung, there's so much more detail here. So image on the right is from the Galaxy. I mean, look at this. The left is starting to lose detail and it's getting a lot of artifacts, whereas from a Samsung you still have a clear image. Okay. Now the difference only is that the Samsung shoots at 6mm. And the Pixel shoots at 4.46. So they obviously have a bit of a difference in sensor sizes, but yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference. If you zoom in, obviously got to go with the Galaxy, but it's not always the case. We'll see that in low light, the telephoto camera on the Galaxy is actually a worse choice than a Pixel. So right here we're actually shooting two images here. So we have two images here. So Pixel shot this at 282 ISO, whereas the Galaxy shot it at 320. Okay. Galaxy has aperture of 1.5, Pixel 1.8. So even at a higher, yeah, see, that's kind of strange sometimes. So the Galaxy has a higher ISO and a bigger aperture, yet Pixel decided to shoot at 1/40th of a second, whereas Galaxy still was keeping at 1/60th. So what you'll see here is that I actually prefer the image of the Samsung because it has more natural colors, about the same amount of detail in both of these images. If you look at the tree looks a lot more natural. The sky looks natural. Samsung does pull more detail from the shadows, but to me that doesn't make for a better picture. Now in the next one we actually zoomed in 2x. So the Samsung used that 6mm camera with f2.4, and it went down to 1/15th of a second, whereas the Galaxy still stayed at 1/40th. Okay. But even though with the stabilized image, you see now we're losing a lot of detail here. So at night, that telephoto lens on a See, the image on the right is from a Samsung, on the left is from Galaxy, from the Pixel. So you'll see here that there's a huge difference in quality of an image. So under ideal lighting conditions, that secondary camera actually works well. But if if you're shooting low light, the secondary camera is not as good. Okay. All right. So we have two more images here under low light, and they're under a white setting. Okay. All right. So left image is from a Pixel, Samsung, and the right one is from Google. So you'll notice that the Pixel has so much more detail and the picture looks more like it should. Yeah, there's just so much more detail here, better colors, while still even the sky is looking better. So I think the Pixel was pulling some HDR stuff right here. Okay. I have one more with using the flash. So Pixel on the left is from, why am I double clicking? From a Samsung, on the right is from the Google. Alright, so you'll notice that the Galaxy kind of, it's not a perfect test because Max here was much closer on the Galaxy than it was on the Pixel. But you'll notice that it's the Samsung actually like overexposes, whereas the Pixel just kind of gives you a light touch of flash, and then while still keeping the background lit. Okay. Now let's look at these last set of images I have here. So these were really low light images, whereas we're pushing the ISO, closer to 1000. Well, in this case, this is 870 on the Pixel and 640 on the Samsung. Okay. All right. So let's zoom in, and yeah, I actually prefer images from the. Let's take a look here. I think the Samsung actually has sharper images on this one. Samsung's on the left. Okay. Let's look here. Yep. So Samsung has slightly sharper images, whereas the Pixel actually has better color on this one. Pixel's on the right. All right. So I think the color is better here. You see this like ghostings. That's the stabilizer that's working. So you see like these kind of wiggling, flying kind of reflections. Okay. All right. So let's look at these images here. So right now, oh wow. So Pixel pushed it to. So this image is from the Samsung. And this image is from Pixel. So Pixel pushed it to 4800 ISO, whereas Samsung stayed at 1000. So Samsung went to 1/4 of a second, and Pixel decided to stay at 1/15. Okay, so it had to compensate with the ISO. So there's a balance here. At 1/4 of a second here on the right, you're gonna get blur from shake, and on the left, you're gonna get like loss of quality due to super high ISO. When zoomed out, they both look the same. Let's zoom in at like 1:1. Let's do 1:2. Yeah, so actually, yeah, the image from a Samsung is much smoother, but not necessarily better than from Samsung. So I mean, look at this. This is close to 5000 ISO on a cell phone. That's amazing. What about this one here? So we have Google using Google on the left, and Samsung on the right. So Google shot it at 2000 ISO. Samsung shot it at 1000 ISO. Samsung is 1/10 of a second. Pixel is 1/15 of a second. Okay. Yeah, wow, there's a huge difference here. It looks almost like the Pixel didn't focus right. So this is a clear winner here, is the Samsung S9. I mean, look how sharp it is and clean. And actually colors are, Yeah, prefer the warmer colors on the Pixel, but I don't know if I shook the image here. No, it just seems out of focus. I think maybe I didn't keep my hand stable enough on the Pixel, because normally Pixel is a bit sharper than that, okay? But in any case, in this one, the S9 wins. Alright, so what about this image here in some weird yellow lighting? Left is the Samsung, right is the Pixel. So Samsung seems to do better on colors. Pixel pulls out more detail from the shadows. Maybe it's doing some HDR processing, okay? Alright, what about this? So we shot the picture here of a train station. Left one is Samsung, right one is the Pixel. So this was shot at 1/15th of a second. Wow, yeah, they both look actually amazing. Let's look at 1:1. Let's see, even go further than that. So this is 2:1 per pixel sharpness. Yeah, I want to say the Samsung looks a bit smoother. Let's see, Samsung was shot at ISO 250 and the Pixel was at 400, so I guess that's why the Samsung looks a bit smoother. So kudos to the lens here, okay? Yeah, they both look amazing. Yeah, so all of these were just like handheld shots, okay? However, when you try to read these, look at the Samsung losing so much detail here on the text. You can't even read what's on the side. Wow. So there you go. I mean, it's it's giving you a smoother image, but it's losing a lot of detail here. So wow, I actually never really thought about that. Look at this side here. Yeah, this is completely washed out. So definitely the Galaxy is not keeping as much detail as the Pixel here. I mean, you can read a zone here. Can't even make it out there. You know, in real life though, it's probably not as easy to notice. Let's look at this image here. This is my last set of images, okay? All right, so you'll on the right is the Samsung, left is the Pixel. Okay. Pixel shot at 418 ISO, Samsung's at 320. So 1/30th of a second. Wow. Yeah, so I don't know why these cameras decide to really like shoot so much differently. Yeah, but this image here, I do prefer the Galaxy, okay, because it's just got more of that blue in the background, and the color is more natural, okay. But let's zoom in like 1:1. Yeah, actually, wow. Galaxy here looks a bit better, although like I don't know, the autofocus areas look really ugly. Yeah, in any case, yeah, both of these cameras actually do really well. There's some subtle differences how the how the processor thinks the picture should be taken. But you know, if you shoot with one camera, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed, and it's only when you do pixel peeping that you notice a real difference. So there you have it, folks. As you can see, there aren't that many differences in these images from either of the camera. The Pixel is obviously older, so you gotta give it that they put in a lot of technology in there, and it's I would say still probably the best photo camera. It's probably still the best phone camera there is, except that it's lacking that secondary lens. Yeah, I mean, there pretty much aren't any situations where I would be disappointed just having a Pixel and not having the S9, except when I have to like zoom in. So if you're like at the soccer field, clear benefit to the Samsung. Okay. All right, well, this was it. This was the comparison of the Galaxy S9 Plus versus Google Pixel. As you notice, it's really close. If I was buying a phone now, end of May 2018, Galaxy S9 Plus would be my choice and not the Pixel. This has 6 gigabytes of RAM, this has 4. Okay, also this is expandable dual SIM slots. The screen is just amazing. If you fly your drone with the Pixel, you gotta fly at night because you can't see the screen during the day. I mean, it's hard to see what's on the screen here with this. You don't even need the shades. You can see the screen in broad daylight sunlight. So if you're flying any drones and using your phone, obviously just use the Samsung phones. Those have the best screens. Okay, well, that was it. Thanks for tuning in. If you like it, comment. If you'd like to see other videos comparison, comment as well. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.